here's your host of Living the Country Life, Betsy Freeze.
Perennials are a gardener's best friend. They're reliable and they bloom every year, but they need a little help from you. Today we're going to talk about perennials. We have Doug Jimerson, garden editor with Better Homes and Gardens. Doug, welcome to the show. Now, we're in a perennial bed right here. What are we looking at?
These are bearded iris, and they're ready to be divided.
How can you tell that, Doug?
Well, as certain perennials get rather large, the center starts to die out.
Okay.
And that's a sign that the plant needs to be kind of cut up into new pieces, which is great because you rejuvenate the plant and you have more plants for your garden or for friends.
It doesn't kill them to do that.
It doesn't kill them at all. And in fact, in the fall, there are several different perennials that are best divided. The peonies are great this time of year, bearded iris, lilies, daylilies, hostas. This is the perfect time to divide all of those plants right now.
How often do you have to do that?
Kind of varies. The iris are 3 to 5 years, peonies 5 to 10 years. But you can generally tell if your plants have fewer and fewer blooms each year in the spring. If your iris, like, why are my iris not blooming anymore? It's generally a reason because they're too crowded. The other way is the centers will start to die out on a lot of plants.
And what time of the year do you want to divide them?
Late summer, early fall. This is the perfect time here in September to get these divided right now. I mean, you can divide them in the early spring, but they won't really bloom. If you divide them now and get them started as new plants, they'll probably have nice flowers for you next spring.
Okay. How do we do that?
Well, you take a spade. I've already started this a little bit to make it easier for us. But basically, you go around the plant like this.
Just make a circle.
Make a circle. And then it hopefully comes up in one piece. We might want to put it in that wheelbarrow.
And then we're going to put it in the wheelbarrow and take it to a table.
Actually, this is going to come up in 2 pieces, which makes our life easier. This might take 2 of us.
All right, now we're going to divide these.
Yes, we'll take this big clump up onto the table.
Okay.
You really want to start by trimming the foliage. Otherwise, you really can't see down in there where you want to make your cuts. Then we'll do the whole clump. Why don't we do half the clump right now?
Okay.
Then we can see how it looks and how it's coming apart. It's really a simple matter. It kind of helps to cut the foliage at a slight angle, just like that. It's in a fan shape.
Just put those on your compost pile then?
Those go in the compost pile, though. These new divisions don't have to then provide energy to all that foliage.
All right.
So let's just leave this way for now.
Okay.
Now you see this before and after.
Right.
So if you take the knife, take a sharp knife, and you start basically hacking away. This one came off easy.
So you have one clump there.
There's one clump there.
Could you split that one even?
You could. I wouldn't, because the smaller you get, the longer it takes them to come back.
All right.
So here's where you start getting interesting, because it's a big clump in here.
Okay.
And you want to cut it away like that. Then we want to look at that clump and go, oh, there's 2 in here at least we can go with.
All right.
Watch your fingers.
It doesn't hurt them to have them chopped in half?
No, you can. Most perennials are so tough. People are often more afraid of hurting the plants, but the plants don't really mind.
All right, so we're going to have 3 clumps then to plant.
Let me get the foliage off those. There's
right.
3 new plants already.
So we just take these back to the garden then?
Those can go back to where you took the original plant from. The rest of these are sort of gravy. We can cut these up and put them other locations in the garden.
Now, how big of a space do you need here?
Well, I prepared the soil from where the original clump was. And there's enough space here for 3 of its children, 3 baby plants. You really want to space out. Iris starts about 12, 15 inches apart.
How deep are you putting that?
Just under the surface of the soil. If you look at the iris, you want to plant it at the same depth it was growing before.
Okay.
Iris grow by rhizomes. Here's one I cut in half. And that's just under the surface of the soil. Any deeper and it might not bloom.
Okay. So you're going to put 3 in that
3
hole.
in here.
And then
spaced out.
Another 3 to 5 years, you'll have to divide this again?
Most likely, if they do well.
Are these going to bloom next year?
They should. And that's why you do it in the fall. So they get established. Their bloom cycle isn't interrupted because you're doing it when they're not blooming. If you do this in the spring, they probably won't bloom because they're in the bloom cycle and they get interrupted.
Do I need to water this now?
You want to water them in, and then if you have a dry fall, give them a little water just to get them established before the winter freeze. But otherwise, you really don't need to do anything.
What about fertilizer?
Don't fertilize them because that's going to stimulate growth at the wrong
okay.
time of year. And I don't mulch iris in the winter because it helps if mice get under, they'll eat those rhizomes. So this is pretty much it for the winter.
All right, we're good to go. Thank you, Doug.
Sure.
Dividing perennials in the fall is necessary to maintain a healthy and beautiful garden.